Hello, hello. I'm here. We are. Everything's good. Double checking. Yep. We are flipping through the magazine today. It's been a hot minute. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention. I probably wouldn't notice. But I have not been posting as regularly because I'm trying to do some major overhaul with some products in the shop. So that has required a lot more attention, and YouTube doesn't really pay that much unless I gather more sponsors, and that's a lot of work too. And it's not my favorite kind of work. So I haven't been posting as many videos. I'm hoping to update that schedule though. We'll be doing the last Friday of every month. But hello, let's look at the magazine. I have bad news and good news, maybe. So the bad news is the physical copy of the magazine still hasn't made it here. The good news is that I heard from the printing company and they are looking into the issue for me. Don't know what that means, but we will figure it out. So I'm gonna have to send a whole email out to anybody who's pre-ordered because it was supposed to arrive earlier this week, and then I was supposed to ship it today, and obviously that has not happened. So I will be, if you've pre-ordered already, expecting an email notification. I'm kind of waiting to see what they say at the printing company first, just to give me a little heads up. I keep looking here because the chat, I moved it over here because I have the magazine on this side. But I am hoping to have something to give people, and not oh, don't know when it's coming. According to their website, they post minuscule updates, and it says it's shipped, but I never got tracking information. So to me, that suggests that it's done, and they just haven't stuck a label on it and sent it out the door. It's a little bit frustrating, especially since it was already a little bit late because it was supposed to come out in April, and now we're halfway through March. But it is what it is. So we're going to go through the digital version of the magazine, at least give you guys a little sneak peek. You can get the digital version right now, and if you pre-order the physical copy, you will get both the digital one right now and then the physical one as soon as it gets here. Swear to God. And hopefully, I'm hoping, what's going to happen? Here's what's going to happen. Right after stream is going to arrive, I have been watching the UPS truck went by. So it's not, I think it would, if last time it came via FedEx. So I'm looking for a FedEx one. If I pre-order, yes, that order went in when I got the email. Well, that's good. Hi, Adam. But yeah, I am hoping that it comes today. Even if it comes after the stream, that would just make me feel better. But we'll click through the magazine as a whole. If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat. I also have all the links that you could ever wish for in the description of this video. So if you want to go pre-order because you haven't, or you like what you see, that's down there. There's also a link for submissions because we are accepting submissions for next issue, which should be coming out in July. And if you wish to submit, I am requiring people to submit by the end of May, which is only in 2 weeks. So get your submissions in. Next issue's theme is going to be ancient technology. I've already sent out some feelers to some of my spotlight piece people, and we'll see who gets back to me. I'm excited and nervous because that's always the hardest part, asking people for free stuff. Well, it's an interview, so it's not free stuff. But without further ado, let's look at the magazine as a whole. Yes. If I can do the things, this button. Oh yeah, look, I put the stuff. Oh, I'm a little off center here. Okay, is that better? All right. So here's the cover. So this is done by Marta. I think her handle on pretty much everything is Obscure Beauty. She's in the Discord. You can talk to her. She always is posting some very lovely character artwork, and our theme this time is shadows and darkness. So she created this beautiful, there's a back to the image too, for the cover. I don't know that it's as exciting. We'll see how long it takes to load because I'm making it do things. All right, well, you know, hello. So it's fine. The back is just as nice as the front, but regardless, she's the one that did the artwork for this. She also submitted a whole adventure, which isn't darkness or shadows themed, but it was such a good piece and I wanted to include it. And she seemed a little bit nervous about submitting it. And I was like, it's beautiful. I didn't have to like do much to it to get it to be the correct format and all of that. So she submitted that. What else did she do? She also did artwork for someone else's adventure. So we'll go through all of that. Hi. It's not going to load very well. I'm just having a day already. It's Friday though, at least. There we go. Slow. So if you get the PDF version, all of these table of contents things are clickable, which is really cool. So you can go straight to them. I really want you to do things, please. It's probably also because I'm streaming on here. Maybe I should close other things out. You know, it is so slow. Okay. First article is by me and nobody really cares, but it's about running OS marches and just general tools and stuff that I found that I like for it. Nothing too crazy, but it goes into remnant stuff. I've only really been running OS marches for 2 months. It feels like forever already. So I fully expect to release more about it as we go. The next page is, of course, our Grandpa Dragonbone came back from our fabulous Justin about keeping players engaged. And I actually found a lot of it super useful. And then we have Fast Eddie's Goblin Market. So 5 items in this one this time. And again, I made it so that you could, if you wanted to, actually cut them out of the magazine. They're all shadow related items. So here's the back page. So you can cut them out of the magazine and you can hand them to players if you want to destroy the magazine that way. I don't know. I don't want you to do that, but I do at the same time. But you do have a digital version, so you can always print them. So there's that. This is the community poll. So anybody who answered the community poll last time, here are the results to that. How much at your table is homebrewed? So apparently this is going to be real crazy, but 50% of the respondents said over 75 or about 75% is homebrew. See, I told you less a percent, so it's a little bit crazy. There was absolutely no one who said that they used the modules as written. So that was interesting to me, but not surprising, right? I feel like no matter what, you have to tailor it to your group. So there's no way to use something pre-written like that, but here we go. And then I have another survey, which is going to ask about whether or not you like to play virtually or in person. Since next time is ancient technology, I thought we'd also dive a little bit into just technology in general with D&D. So that is that poll. We've got our wonderful NPC campfire with, I want to say Joran, but I don't know if that was the intended pronunciation or not. But this is from Nico and I think Wooly the Moth, I think is what you'd say. They're on YouTube too. And he made the one, they jointly made the one from last time as well. The Necromancer, who was kind of, the artwork was really cool. I kind of like that this one, he just doesn't have like eyes. It makes him very shady. We have a DM screen tutorial in this one, and I liked the cameo, if you can see in this top right corner, of her cat. Module as written. What sort of robot players would you need for that? My players meet their first shopkeep in their first ever D&D game and immediately wanted to intimidate the guy just for lower prices. Yeah. I feel like your players and my players would get along because we definitely have we joke that my well, I play with my family, so my Drakkenheim group um, includes my mom, my stepdad, my sister, and my husband, and also my niece. And we joke that my mom is a murder hobo, mostly because she just is a barbarian and likes to hit everything. But she would do that. She would definitely intimidate someone for lower prices, uh, if not just blatantly hit them in the face. But yeah, so we have a beautiful tutorial here with a cameo from a cat, and I liked it. It reminded me of my cat. My cat kind of looks like that, Ash. So there's that. And then here's my first spotlight piece, which was super exciting. I'm still waiting for my family group to hit murder hobo stage. Oh, don't worry. It's very easy for my group. I don't know. Not everybody is a murder hobo in my group. Luckily, they're like my husband tries to pull it back, and Drake on the server, that's my stepdad, he's also often trying to find other ways to do things. But my mom doesn't have a lot of patience. But my first spotlight piece of this magazine is Attic Arcana. So this is actually someone I met in person at my first ever convention. And so I reached out to Alex. She also buys a lot of stuff from my shop ever since she found me at that convention. But she's a dice maker. I have dice from her. They're probably upstairs, actually, in my dice bag, because I used them to murder characters last week or 2 weeks ago. But either way, she is a dice maker, and this is her booth setup, which actually this picture looks way different than what I saw at PGX when she was there. And she and her partner go to all these different conventions, but one of the things I thought was really cool is that they actually go to Renaissance fairs. They're mostly now, like, I think they're from New Jersey, so I haven't seen them in a while. They haven't been to PGX in a couple years, but they love going to Renaissance festivals, but also not hate it, but like they also, like, there's certain things about it that are like different than running conventions. So she was telling me all about how like difficult it is to have the tent, and your attire, you have to wear a corset all day, like things like that. And it was just super fascinating. So I thought I would share kind of her story and how they got started on that. That's her booth at conventions. I thought I was looking at artwork for a shop in game. No, it's really pretty, isn't it? There's more pictures. So I think this is more like her workshop, like her space and like crafting dice. She used to be super active on Instagram. I think she's kind of stepped back from Instagram because Instagram is all social media kind of sucks, if you ask me. Even YouTube sometimes sucks. But I just feel like Instagram, if you're not posting regularly, it's like you don't exist. And so she like stepped back from that because she was stressing out from it, which I totally get. But so that's her like behind the scenes. But this is her booth. So the one in the bottom right corner here, that is the most recent, I think, Renaissance booth that she's had. And there's like a nighttime picture to the left here with like lights in it. It's just really cute. But this is the setup, this top left one, that's the setup I saw when I first met her. And obviously they've gone for a completely different direction now, and everything's a lot more purple, which I also enjoy. So I had to make her entire section of the magazine purple because it just felt fitting. That looks like a lot of setup and repacking, right? Also, it's a lot of tiny dice. Like, what if you lose one? And they're like not cheap. They're very expensive dice because they're handmade. And I'm like, I'd be nervous about losing them. YouTube sometimes sucks. Yes, Adam, it does. And you just got your whole channel demonetized. Good job. Like they were paying me anything anyway. Yeah, so this was my first spotlight piece. She juggles 2 jobs, so she is lucky that her like main job kind of is more flexible, so she can go and do these sorts of things. And I don't know, I liked sharing that little bit of story there. Next we have some Shadow Dark resources. I don't know how many people in the audience might do it. The lighting of those last 2 shots is really cool. Yeah, they were those are all her. Like they sent me pictures. But yes, so the next part we have here is a Shadow Dark section. So this is by Alex and their artwork. So all of these, like this torch, which I think is cool. This style of artwork is just cool. I think it mimics the Shadow Dark artwork. I was gonna look and see if I have the book, but I don't know if it's over there. But it mimics that Shadow Dark feel, which I really liked. But each of these is like a reference card. So this first sheet is like for GMs, just basic overall rules. And then each one is for the 4 classes. I don't know how many people have played Shadow Dark. I haven't played it, but I've read through the book and I bought the book. It's really small. It's very nice, well designed. But it only has 4 classes. Although, did they just release we did a Kickstarter that had additional classes? Does anybody know? I feel like somebody knows. But I think they're releasing more classes, question mark. And either way, we got one for the wizard. We've got a priest and a thief. If it'll ever load. We're really asking a lot for. I probably shouldn't have done as high quality for this PDF, but I was like, it's fine. I have a high-powered PC. Regret. So here's the priest and the thief. Some things are different too for each one, right? So you have spell casting for a priest, but you obviously don't have that for the thief. And I didn't while I redesigned it, I literally just took how he had his boxes and just arranged them a little bit on here in the style. So I took a lot of creative liberties there. Hopefully he doesn't mind, but the information was really good. So there's that. And then we dive into our map submissions. So there's quite a few. All of these, I believe, are from Matthew W. I think that's what he puts on his, what are the words? On his Instagram and everything else. He also made my map for Remnant, by the way, if anybody's in the Remnant campaign. He actually made the world map that I just recently changed. I wish I could show it to you, but I can't because it's a West Marches, so I don't want to spoil anything, but it's really beautiful. So he's got, I think, 4 maps in here. All of them kind of like boss type things. Like here's a blood domain. That's freaky. And then this is like some sort of heart in a big chamber of blood. Sure. And then we've got this little village type thing. If you buy the magazine, you get the digital version of all these maps as well. So there's that. And I'm working on the module for it. I just released the Foundry module for the first issue. I had a lot of issues. It was just with sharing. Once I figured, it's so stupid. I'm going to do a whole video on it because it's such a stupid small thing. Hi. It's such a stupid small thing that I couldn't figure out how to do with sharing the module and the JSON file. So I'm going to make a whole video on it. But once I figure that out, it's really easy. So now you can get the issue 1 Foundry module on Patreon. And then I have another for this one that I'm working on. I'm also styling it like the magazine. So that's been a whole thing. Are there locations or key for the village? There's not. So he kind of leaves it open-ended for this little village. To me, obviously there's some sort of keep or big building in the middle. And then just a whole bunch of other little houses and that kind of thing. This one looks like a tavern. So it's open-ended. You can kind of do whatever you want with it, you know? I kind of prefer that if you ask me, but then let's talk about I think it's Domina Octavia. I think it's supposed to be kind of Latin-y based on her other abilities. And Tenebra, which here's the artwork. The artwork is really cool. But they have some shadowy, I think she's an undead elf. Yes, undead elf, and she has a lot of shadowy, teleporty type magic. And then, of course, she's got her companion who is like a shadow panther. Isn't that cool? That gets tough with detailed maps. Eventually, you see something you can't explain easily with objects, but you can edit it. So what I usually do in that regard, if I'm putting it on a VTT, I just cover it up. You can just put you can, especially since all of his maps are made in Dungeon Draft, I just make tiles of like floor or whatever, and I just uh, export them as PNGs and then use them as tiles in Foundry and cover up stuff I don't want my players to ask about, if that makes sense. There's one map that I got from Birdie that had like a whole, it was a really good map and I liked it. And I liked everything except for this one room. And this one room had like a spell circle in it. And I was like, if I leave that in there, suddenly the whole mission is now going to be about that spell circle and everything else is going to go out the window. So I just made a tile that matched the floor in there. But you could make it a rug or something. Great tip, actually. You're welcome. Because I'm the same way. That's why I end up making a lot of my own maps, which is time consuming, right? So I'm trying not to do that as much. No promises. But yeah, so this is Gage. I think it's Gage the Viking on YouTube, I want to say. But he's running a whole bunch of stuff now. He's even doing his own like GMing like podcasts, D&D podcasts. I can use words today. It's Friday. Can you tell? But yeah, so he created this monster. So it's a lot of fun. And then comes my next spotlight piece, which was extremely nerve-wracking for me. I'm sure he was like, oh, whatever, it's fine. But for me, asking him to do anything was like, huh. So yes, obviously I got to talk to Bob, the world builder from YouTube. Just asked him some stuff about like making content for YouTube, and honestly a lot as I was talking, or like as I like sent these questions and then I was reading through kind of his answers, I was like, you know, all of this is hitting home for me as a YouTube creator. I'm like, oh my God. And he probably has more time to do that, whereas I'm juggling like the shop stuff too, and it's just like, I don't know how other people do it, but it is Bob. He's not my fan, I don't think. If he was my fan, that would be crazy, but I don't know it. I don't know that he is. I have met him in person at PGX last year, literally very briefly, because he was going one way and I was heading back to my booth after grabbing a snack from the like vending area because I was so hungry. And literally it was like a very quick like drive-by conversation. And he introduced my stuff one time in a video because it was alphabetical and he's Bob and I'm Cantrips Media. So, and that happened once, but yeah. So he's a very nice dude though. Very kind. And so this kind of goes into his story about how much time he spends on like YouTube, how he took it full time, you know, what his workspace is like, what kind of he uses. I'm not embarrassed for him much because I understand why people do this, but he uses Google Slides to make his his thumbnails for YouTube, and that hurt my soul a little bit, but that's because I've always used like heavy duty Adobe software, or now I use Affinity because Adobe just wants to steal all your money. But I've always used like higher end things, and anytime I try to do something in a software like that, like I've even tried, what's that one, Canva or something, I just get annoyed with it, and I'm like, you know, I could do this instantly if I were in Affinity. And I don't want to sound elitist, but I was like, you use Google Slides, can you not? I see your thank you note mentioning imposter syndrome. Hi, yes, that's me. You're now Bob approved. No, I'm not, which you should remind yourself of if that comes up again. Yeah, no, not Bob approved. I mean, he was very nice, and but I don't know that he's even watched any of my content, so it's fine. I kind of prefer it that way. I'd rather be just like some unknown person than be someone as big as that anyway, so it's fine. But yeah, so here we go. We have all of that. Then we talk about, of course, Delve, because that's his new thing that he's working on. Then we have a creature for me that some people might recognize if you're in Remnant. This is a Shadow Hound. Don't look too closely at its abilities if you are in Remnant, because who knows if this beastie might come back. But then I have Paul's piece. Paul's always I love this piece because you can feel the character in it, but it's written from the perspective of a bard, and this time it focuses on Dustfire. Well, more importantly, you've approved by over 250 Discord followers. I mean, I don't know that everybody is active on Discord. You know, like I think about me and how many Discords I joined. Like I'm even in, there's two that I should be more active in that are like D&D YouTubers that I'm just like, I can't manage this and mine. It's impossible to not be a fan of you. Oh, that's very sweet, but it's still possible, I think. But anyway, so Paul's piece is super nice because it's like from a character's perspective on the world, and it can give you a lot of stuff to pull from. And so I did what I did last time and put this like quick facts thing. So there's a Dusklight festival here, and I kind of pull from what he wrote about and make it into something tangible you could use for D&D. And I kind of hope that that helps you take things that you've read in I was going to say in real life, but yeah, things that you've read and transform that into something for your table, hopefully, as an example. They made a choice to seek you out to learn more from or be a part of what you're creating. Yes, the Discord followers. That is true. They are more active than other social media, like, again, more active than Instagram. But I don't have a problem with Instagram, I swear. It's not very effective for me. Next, okay, Marta also did the art for this, but next we have the Heinous Raiders, and poor Justin sent me maps and I didn't put them in here, but they are included with the digital version of the when you order, you get a digital like zip file. It includes the maps. And I'm so sorry, Justin. He did send it to me, but he sent it to me in a Discord message, a direct Discord message. And then of course it got lost because there's too many things to juggle. But this Heinous Raiders adventure is actually made for Draw Steel. So if you guys are looking for ways to, play Draw Steel or like adventures to try something out, this is one of those. And we actually played it. He ran it for me and a few other people on the Discord server, and it was tons of fun. I've played Draw Steel a couple times now. I honestly really like it. I think it's also kind of ruined just as a player. It's ruined combat for me in D&D. Because it is so snappy and you're focused the entire time. Now when I'm a player, and maybe this is why I like DMing so much, but now that when I'm a player in a game and we hit combat, I find myself getting so bored and wishing we were playing something like Draw Steel where the combat was a little more snappy and I had to pay attention the whole time, which is bad. You should pay attention as a player. And I do usually, and I'm usually like prepared. I'm like, I have this stuff I want to do, but I do find it like harder to stay on track because not everybody in the group is prepared. And then you're like waiting for them to decide things. And that makes it hard. But also I don't play as a player much. So then I have to remind myself what all these abilities are. So there's that too. I often forget key things for my characters. Regardless, this is an adventure for Draw Steel, and it is the Heinous Raiders, and it's really, really good. It was really fun to play in, and I really liked it. The fighting was always what I liked less on D&D. Yeah, there are ways to make it better, and maybe we could do a whole video on that too. That's the main reason you dropped D&D. Yeah, see, D&D combat is just a slog. Which sucks because it's not like it is a major part now of D&D. I feel like it is a kind of combat heavy game, but to me it's the same way. Like it's not my favorite part. My favorite part is like leading up to that, the role playing and doing whatever you need to do to keep yourself out of combat. That's the part I like the most. But yeah, so yeah, and the magic mechanics. Yeah. But you could see all this beautiful artwork from Marta again. I don't know how she found the time to do all these things, but she's the best. That's the kilt that McFight, that is the Goblin Raider boss. That's the kilt he wears. I thought your favorite part was listening to doors. To doors? No. Not cursed doors in particular. Nobody's going to get that reference. So unless you're in the Discord, and then everybody will know. But one of the DMs in the Remnant campaign cursed my only character at the time. And it was our first mission, too. And you cursed her. It's your fault. It's not my fault. If you didn't want me to listen to the door, you shouldn't have made it hum. Okay? Obviously. So what else we got here? We got part 2 of the Well of Respect, which is super cool. Taking notes. This is by Kirsty. I don't think she's on the stream today because she's currently abroad, but not, I feel like one of the Adams in the chat will make a comment on that sentence there. But so this is part 2. I liked it a lot. I drew the artwork for this one. Last time my sister drew it, and she was super busy this time. So I was like, well, I can try to mimic the style of what you did before. And it's not as good as hers, but it's good enough. And I'm pretty happy with it. So that's all that matters. But let's not spoil too much there. She mentioned it's probably just going to be one more part for that story, which is cool. Here's the adventure. So again, we do try to tailor the big adventure to 5e because it is the most prominent still. Hopefully that changes in a couple of years. We'll see. Which would be good and bad because it'd be hard for me to provide stuff for everybody, but then, you know, it would force people to play more different games, right? But this is the Desert's Maw. Beautiful artwork from Marta again. And this is written by her. The best part about this is that I really didn't have to do much with it. And like I read through it, I double checked, you know, spelling, grammar, whatever. She is in Europe, so they were using British English, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with British English, but like if the rest of the magazine is in American English and then this is not, can be a lot of context switching there, you know? Before you end the live, please show the cover of the issue. Sure, I can do that again. But this is her, she wrote this and it was super easy to like put in here that she had like different feedback throughout. She has like all sorts of just tips and tricks. All I really did is format it and make it look pretty. And I did draw some art, not a lot of art. I forgot about this guy. I did draw this little whistle, which isn't very good, but it's, you know, it is fine. And I made a map for the tent for her too. I made this one in Dungeon Draft, and I had to really think about how to do it. So that was fun. But there is a map for this. Here's some more items I made for the whole adventure. And yeah, so essentially you get to a village and it is being attacked by a big giant worm you saw in the first section, and your players have to do something about it. They can help evacuate people, and they can also try to defend the whole village from this giant purple worm, but it's not a purple worm in the typical sense, because isn't there a purple worm monster? I made a tent map in Dungeon Alchemist. They can be challenging, right? And this was just like one tent. It was supposed to be the infirmary, and I was like, well, it's got to have beds. It's good enough, right? It looks fine. The outside looks better than the inside, if you ask me, but it is what it is. She has this other thing too, since we're on this page, this click, rule that she kind of set up, and she explains what it is, and I liked it a lot. It was a very different set of mechanics you could use in D&D that we don't talk about as much. But essentially, it's a series of dangerous events, and then every time something happens, the DM says click, and then they have a second to like figure out what they're going to do in that moment. Oh, thank you. It doesn't look that great. It's okay. There's some things about it. This is me though. I'm always like, there's stuff I could have done better. In particular, lighting is my the hardest thing for me. And that's something like I think I could work on better, is adjusting lighting. So I feel like the inside of the tent should probably be darker than it is, but you know, it's pretty good for the first time making a tent like that. I will take it. Yep, so here, we'll hop to the last part here. So the last part here is all of the stat blocks for the monsters in the adventure. So you get 3 additional stat blocks here, which is cool. And then of course the other 2 pages, that one is just accepting submissions and me. And then here's all of the wonderful people who have put some content in this magazine at some point. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty much the whole magazine. We'll go back to the cover so everybody can ooh and ah the cover. Sorry I don't have a physical one right now. Again, hopefully coming today, for the love of God and all that is holy. But here's the cover again by Marta. She sent me like progress updates, and every time that she did a little bit more, I was like, oh my God, I love it. And then I'd be like, no, I love this more, because she just kept adding on and on to it. And I try not to do I try to be hands off. Like I gave her, yes, we're doing shadows and darkness. So she's like, well, of course you have to have like light in the background because you can't have shadows without light. And she's like talking all about like her thought process behind it. And it's just really, really cool to watch an artist just do their thing and then see what comes out of it. So I was pretty excited about that. And I love that she kept me kind of in it. I like this one more than the first one. Yeah, the first one. Do I have it here? Yes. Oh. What? This is the first one. So here's the first one down here. So yeah, definitely different. And that's kind of the plan, is to kind of have a theme for each one, and then also have a different artist for the cover, because I feel like the cover is the thing that like stands out the most, and like that's what draws people's eye to it. So I was hoping to do a different artist for the cover every time. Of course, this also depends on how many people volunteer to help. If you have something you would like to submit, like, please do so. There is a whole thing link down in the description for you guys below. And we're accepting anything from any tabletop game. Like I said, in this one, we've got Shadow Dark stuff in here. We've got Draw Steel stuff, which hasn't even been fully published yet. Although Daggerheart's coming out soon, but I don't know if they have an open gaming license yet. Draw Steel does. Shadow Dark does. I have no idea. I haven't been keeping track of the Daggerheart stuff. But really anything, as long as it has an open gaming license and we're allowed to publish it, is good to go. Monsters, artwork, characters. We didn't have any character submissions this time. So there weren't any in here. The other thing missing is the quiz. I had a quiz in mind, but I ran out of time, so I couldn't design the quiz part, which sucks because as I was like, I have to cut this, then people were talking about the quiz that they did last time for the first issue of the magazine. So I was like, dang, I should have included it, because apparently a lot of people had fun with that. So yeah, there will definitely be one for next time, because it's written now and it's all ready. It's just designing it. But yeah, so if you like this magazine, you should go pre-order. You can get a digital copy. You don't have to buy the physical one. If you get the physical copy, you also get a digital version, and of course, all of the maps and resources inside. It will have the same, if anybody bought the first issue, it will have that same matte finish, which I love. It's like nice to pet. I don't know. And yeah, I'm hoping that it'll arrive. Again, I'm waiting on an email. I'm hoping it'll arrive today. But I will let you guys know. And we can go back to my face, I guess. Any questions, comments, concerns? Let me move this to over here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know that I've been lacking in the content field. Again, I am going to do just the last Friday of every week, and possibly a live stream or something in the middle of the month, just because YouTube doesn't pay and I don't have enough time. It takes me, for one video to edit that is 10 minutes long, it takes me about 16 hours of work time to get from start to finish. That's writing the script, filming it. That's filming it, and I'm not filming it 1,000,001 times too. That has happened a lot. And then, of course, actually editing it and then posting, sharing, etc. So I need to take some of that back and put it into other parts of the business until I get back up on my feet a little bit here. So less videos, but I promise I'm very active on the Discord server. So I mean, I say that, but I did have like 80 remnant pings yesterday, it felt like. So, but yeah, I hope you guys check out the magazine, that you like it as much as I do. I can't wait to get the physical copy. When I do, I will probably still at least do a little reaction short for you guys, so you guys can see and ooh and ah over it with me. But I will see you guys in the next one. The next one is, oh, I should mention, there's a Dungeon Jam. I don't know if anybody else is talking about Dungeon Jam, but I'm going to be a part of Dungeon Jam, which is run by Mystic Arts. Some people know Mystic Arts from YouTube. He's and his channel are running a whole Dungeon Jam where a whole bunch of YouTube creators are going to be creating 5-room dungeons that you can get for free. So I have one. Some of my Remnant friends will recognize some of it. So we'll be posting that, and it's also going to have a Foundry module. So, which is why it's taking me so long. So you can get the Foundry module as well, since most of my content that does well on here is Foundry related. That is the plan. And then that is happening the May 25th, and then the 5 days after, so till the 30th. So expect free resources all over YouTube. Okay? Spread the word. I'll probably post another thing about it too. But I will. Oh, and he's here. You missed the whole stream, buddy. I will see you guys in the next one. All right? Have a good weekend. And I will see you guys. Bye. If I remember what the button is, huh? You want to say goodbye too?